Y'all, welcome back to General Principle. I'm Stevie. Um, so today we're working on my new project here, which is a 1997 Sea-Doo GS. Um, so I picked this thing up. It's on a trailer for $500. Now that is a good deal. At least I think so. Anyway, they were asking $7 for it. Went over there and checked it out. Couldn't get it to turn over with the button, but I jumped solenoid. Compression checked out all right. It's sparking like intermittently. But the rear e-box had some water in it, which just houses the coil and the starter solenoid on these Sea-Doos, or older Sea-Doos. And I cleaned the ground and it got sparks, but I think the solenoid's bad. So I believe that it's just this bad solenoid, and I might be able to make this one work. But the MPEM on these is way up here, and it's all working because it's powering on with the key and the button. So I believe the MPEM's good. We were getting spark there. But the solenoid's not turning over. Everything else looks really good on it. They didn't really know much about it other than they've owned it for a little while. It was registered in 2023. And it's honestly really in really good shape. So the only part that's faded is this hood right here. And I'm going to try to hit this with a heat gun and take these stickers off. These stickers here. And it's supposed to look like this color here. But anyway, I'll flip the camera around. I'll show you the engine bay and all that. So it's got a brand new seat cover on it by Rietco Products. And it's even got stainless steel staples in it. And so they must have taken this somewhere to have it recovered, because I don't think they would have done that good of a job. Inside, it's pretty clean, a little dirty. Someone had the head pipe off and re-welded the Welch plugs, which is pretty common. And they painted it gold. I would have went with black, but whatever. I do have the airbox and everything for it. It looks like it's got a brand new carburetor on it, which I don't know why they wouldn't rebuild it, or they sent it out and had it rebuilt, because it's got grease on all the bushings. The front paint is extremely fresh. There's no, well, there's a little paint chipped off that bolt, but so it's never been apart. So my bet is it's been sent out to be rebuilt. On these carburetors, they have an accelerator pump, which I've never worked on before. One with an accelerator pump, but can't be too bad. Also, it came with a battery, which is actually good, which is weird. And so let me take this thing out of here quick. This thing's kind of a pain in the butt to do one-handed. Alright. So, and here's the e-box. You can see it's full of water, which is not really a good sign. But, and the electronics have definitely been sitting in water. So, that's probably why the starter solenoid doesn't work. But the coil is working, or at least it did there at the place. Well, everything looks good. The carbon seal's in good shape. Motor turns over. It's got compression. Everything's there. I got all the parts, and I even got a cover for it. And it fits my 96 XP, which is underneath that cover on the left side there. And this is just, I'm not going to keep this one. I'm just going to flip it. The only thing that's really beat up on this is this here. And then this has got a little dry cracking in it. But that's no big deal. I'm probably just going to end up taking this off. And then it does need a buff and a good wash, but that's it. It'll probably be a good hand compound. This thing will look really good. It's got a little bit of spider cracking there. Nothing offensive. It's got a lot of... This latch is kind of messed up. I'm not exactly sure how the heck it works, but... Anyway, it's got a new desk key. Someone had a new desk key made for it. I got a registration, a rope, and it came with a ratchet with a 3/16 spark socket on it, I think. Yeah. So, and I got a ratchet strap, so I'm pretty sure the deal was worth it already. Got a rope. It's got the fire extinguisher in here still with the toolkit. So overall, it's in really good shape. It's been kept under cover. The grips are still good. No peeling anywhere. They're still in really good shape. It's got LED lights on the trailer. Bunks are in good shape. Came with a spare tire. And yeah, it's in really good shape all together. So first thing I'm going to do is try to get this thing turning over. I'm going to check to make sure I'm getting power from the button down at the solenoid. And then if I am, then I'm going to know it's a solenoid. So gonna go ahead and check this fuse here as well, because I'm sure that's pretty dirty. And I'm going to make sure that you see if I can get it cranking over the starter solenoid, and then we're gonna go from there. And also I have all the airbox parts for it. But yep, let's get right to it. Okay, so I got the test light hooked up here. So I'm putting the key on, and I'm gonna blow in the key a little bit. There we go. See, the oil light comes on. I hit the starter button. I'm in the positive wire to the starter solenoid, and it's clicking on and off. So that tells me all the MPEM and everything's good, which is best case scenario. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this starter solenoid off and put it on the bench and just bench test it. Maybe I'll get lucky and smack it around a little bit or something. I can get it to work. But worst case scenario, I just have to replace the solenoid, which is fine with me. But anyway, so that's all good news. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the starter solenoid out now. All right, so I got pulled the solenoid out, bench tested it. It's done. I tried to smack it around a little bit, and it did not work. So I have another ski, or my dad has another ski that we're rebuilding the motor on, so I just stole the solenoid off of it. It's the same exact solenoid, and it turns over now. So I'm going to check spark, for spark now. Get the key to connect. You gotta blow in it sometimes. Hot hand, there we go. Yeah. Good freaking spark. Yes, that's such a relief. Woo! Alright, we're gonna throw the plugs in and throw a little premix down through it, and I think she's gonna pop right off. Alright, about to see if she's gonna fire. Here we go. Sweet. Let's throw a little bit more down. All right. Old girl's alive. All right, so next thing we got to do is get some fuel in the tank, which actually it's got like 3/4 of a tank, so I'm gonna see if I can just pull some fuel up. And I'm going to prime the oil, make sure the oil pump's good. Oil pump's getting the oil and all that stuff, so she's looking good. All right, well, I fired it up, put it on the hose. Thing was running really good. And of course, and I look back here, there's water spraying everywhere, and there's that. So not winterized, cracked the water jacket, and the exhaust gasket's leaking, which that's not a big deal. But that kind of sucks. So this is a single piece cylinder. That's the dual piece cylinder. So I'm gonna take this off and see if I can weld it. Then I have a TIG welder. So if I can weld it, we'll be good. If not, let's buy a cylinder. So that really sucks. Dang it, I knew, should have looked for that. Got a little too pushy, but it looks like I can weld it. I can't say, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the head off real quick. Take a look in there. All right, well, I got the ski apart here. It's got 0.25 over pistons in it. They're freaking perfect. Cylinders are perfect. Still got cross hatching in them. But here's the problem. I'm in Alabama, and I guess this thing came from Florida. That's what the title says, and I didn't know that till after I bought it. That would have been nice to know, because it's even registered in Alabama, but whatever. But it's got this corrosion that's in here, and it's corroded out the side here, and they had it patched with like silicone or epoxy or something. And that actually wasn't what was leaking. This is here. Pull this gasket out of the way. That there. So I mean, I'm thinking, now this is real jank, but and this one has it too. If we can peel this epoxy out of here and weld up that crack, I think it would be fine. Because all it's got to do is seal water on this outside. If it gets in here, sure, it may dribble a little bit, but all it's got to do is seal on the outside. So if we just make this outside flush. We may be able to do this because a new cylinder and piston kit with cylinders and pistons, because of course these are already bored over 0.25 over, so I can't just throw cylinders on it, is about 550 bucks. Already got 500 bucks into the ski and everything, and on a good, and I think I can get, it sits on a trailer. Bought this just to flip. I could probably get 18 out of it, so I'd have 1,000 in it, which should still be making, say low day, we'll call it 14, pretty bottom dollar. And you know, it's not bad. I'm making 400 bucks, but that's a lot of work for 400 bucks. So I'm gonna try this first, just to see if Dad thinks he can re-weld that, which I think he can, but I don't know. Either way, and then I'll just buy a top-end gasket kit, and I gotta redo the gaskets on there because that crack was the only piece that was leaking. So I mean, it's worth a shot. So I don't know, but either way, it really sucks. But, and it was even running great. The thing ran perfect. Sat there and idled good. I hooked it up to the hose and it was just spewing water out. This is the second one I've seen crack. This one, cracking, I think is just from salt, maybe from freezing. Because it didn't crack the inside liner, which is good. Just cracked the outside. But this is from salt. You can see the corrosion in there and it's just ate away at this aluminum. Just really sucks. But either way, I'm gonna clean up my crap here, and I'm just gonna give the ski a wash and everything. So alright, so here is that crack that went all, and it was just like broken off here, and then I ground the paint back and it went all the way back to here. So that's pretty bad. But Dad TIG welded that up. Now it ain't the prettiest, but it is on there.
Cameo?
What?
There you go. Thanks, Dad. You're awesome.
I did.
You're the best.
Anyway, he also welded this up. That's where it was missing.
See? Fix it, just right.
Can you move for a second? It was missing like that. And Dad, we stuck a piece of steel, plate steel down in there. And then he welded it back up, and he did a really good job. Because I know I couldn't do anything. The whole cylinder would be on pile by now, and it didn't even get down in the center of it, so I just gotta grind this off back flush, and I think it should work. Alright, so I'm gonna show you how all this turned out here. So this is a spot that was missing a chunk out of it from corrosion. I'm completely welded up. I'm gonna knock that down, this little ridge in there with a file just a little bit more. And this is the piece with the big crack out of it. And that's how it turned out. So I'm just going to file a couple of these little nubbins down in there. And this one also just had a chunk out of it here. And that one turned out really good. So I'm just going to smooth out these areas. And I got a gasket kit in. And it's a full top-end gasket with exhaust manifolds and new O-rings for everything. So it should do what I need. So we're gonna clean this up a little bit, then scrape the gaskets off the bottom, and we're gonna put this thing in there. Alright, got the jugs installed, put the pistons in, and they're just got the bolts in, just barely snug down. You have to leave them a little bit loose, which I'm probably actually gonna have to loosen these up just a little bit. That way, and then you put the exhaust manifold on. And it lines up the cylinders, and then you torque this down. So I'm going to loosen these bolts up a little bit, and then I'm going to put the exhaust manifold on, and then it should be pretty good. Now I'm just going to check compression, see, make sure it's all good there. Well, I'm going to put the head on, check compression, then I'll throw the pipe on if that checks out good. And it'll be ready for a startup. And then throw a hose on it, see if it leaks water, because that's obviously what we're hoping for it not to do. So, I mean, I think we should be pretty good. But, it's definitely going to be a little interesting. I mean, you can see it's still got the crack on the inside, but it's completely welded on the outside. These here That's where the silicone was in the middle. Actually, it was epoxy. But thankfully, it's got a really big O-ring. I got fresh O-rings here, which are actually a little bit thicker. I guess they haven't been squished down yet. So hopefully that should squish nice and good over on the head and not give us any trouble. But we'll find out. Alright, so got the head, all the cylinders on, exhaust manifold on, and now we're going to torque this thing, or at least attempt to. I snugged everything down with a ratchet, which looks like I already got it tight. Alright, so I got it assembled. We're gonna attempt to start it. Ooh. Okay. Seems to run pretty good. Got a exhaust leak from the pipe splits, but it's no big deal. Can deal with that later. Just stick it on the hose and see what happens, I suppose. Alright, fire in the hose. Forgot to put the coolant hose on the back, so it's just kind of puking water out. Try again. Well, that's weird. negative terminal came loose on the battery. Hopefully that's all it is. No return. Okay. There we go. Why does it keep dying? So weird. It's like we're losing connection on the desk feed. The reason it shut off was I had that loose ground, then I fixed that, and then it fired up, and then this fuse popped, fixed that, and then the 5-amp fuse in the MPEM popped. And now it's popping every time, so that tells me my MPEM is smoked now, since I have had a bad ground and it just did bad stuff in there. So needless to say, I'm a little pissed off right now. But anyway, we're gonna keep going through it. Alright, so it's been a little bit. Pipe on, I repainted it black and I immediately scratched it up getting it in there, so be it. But I got a new stator in it, which actually was not bad, but I already had ordered one, so just went ahead and put a stator in it. And I got a new MPEM, which is an aftermarket one, but so far it seems to work. And this is just something for me to flip, so I'm not super worried about it. But I got everything together, carbon. Things seems to run really good. No water leaks. Everything's working on it, so we're gonna fix and test ride it before the rain hits. But so try to get some video of that. So wish me luck.